King Arthur's Knights, Chapter 8, Part 5. The lady caused inquiries to be made, and her forester said that the lady's lands of the fountain lay 15 leagues beyond the mountains, and that his way lay through the wished wood, the dead valley, and the hill of the Tower of Stone, and only a knight of great valor could hope to win through these places, which were the haunt of warlocks, wizards, and trolls, and full of magic, both black and white. Joyously Sir Owen mounted his horse, glad to learn that now he might hope to find his countess again, and the Lady of the Moors wished him Godspeed, and looked after him long and earnestly till he disappeared into a forest. He journeyed 3 days through the wished wood, and many were the dreadful things he saw and heard there, and great eyes, green and black and yellow, peered at him from the bushes as he sat over his fire at night. But he clasped the blue stone which the troll Deset had given him, and naught could hurt him. On the 4th day he descended into the dead valley, and here he was like to die, for the air was so thick and filled with the poison of witches who haunted there at night, that if he had not ridden fiercely and fast through its deathly vapors, he could not have reached the slopes of the hill of the Tower of Stone, where the air was pure and blew out of the clean sky. Long and toilsome and exceedingly steep was the way up the side of the mountain, and many times Sir Owen thought he would have to sink down for sheer weariness. And it was dark night before he reached level ground, and he could not see where he was or what place he was in. But having said his prayers, fed his horse, and eaten from the scrip which the Lady of the Moors had made up for him, he lay down beside a thick bush and slept soundly. Many were the terrible sounds that came from far below, where fierce witches and warlocks battled and tore each other in the dead valley. But Sir Owen was so overcome that he awoke not. And just as the morning broke, a great serpent issued from a rock near where he lay, and crept toward him to slay him. Sir Owen still lay asleep, and the huge creature reared its head to strike. But at that moment, a great brown bear that had sat near Sir Owen through the night leaped forward with a fierce growl and gripped the serpent by the head, and the serpent hissed and writhed. With the noise of the struggle, Sir Owen awoke and marveled to see the two animals closed in deadly combat. He drew his sword and slew the serpent, and having wiped his weapon, he went to his horse and led it forward. But the bear followed him and played about him, as if it were a greyhound that he had reared. And Sir Owen stopped and said, "This is a marvel, Sir Bear, that you would follow me gambolling because I slew the serpent. Are ye so grateful then, or is it that ye have been captive unto men, and are fain to see one in this desolate waste?" The bear gamboled as if pleased to hear him speak, and went on a little way and looked back as if to see the knight was following. And when Sir Owen would go another way, the bear stamped his foot, so that at length, with a laugh, Sir Owen said he would follow the way he wished. Wild was that place and rocky, full of great boulders and with deep pits obscured by bushes. Full irksome was it to pass through, for besides the slipperiness of the way, the sun shone pitilessly down, and its heat was returned by the hard rocks, and there was no water. If the bear had not led him, Sir Owen would have missed his footing many times and been hurtled down one of the many chasms that yawned everywhere. At length Sir Owen became faint with hunger, and he dismounted and tethered his horse to a leafless thorn. Then he went and lay in the shadow of an enormous rock that reared up like a huge tower, and the bear looked at him for a little while and then disappeared. Sir Owen wondered sadly whether he should ever win through the perils that encompassed him, and see again the lady whom he loved best in all the world. And weak with famine, he doubted whether he should not leave his bones to bleach beside the great rock. Then he looked and saw the bear coming toward him, and it carried a roebuck, freshly slain, which it brought and laid at Sir Owen's feet. The knight sprang up with a glad cry and struck fire with his flint, and the bear brought dried sticks, and soon a fire was blazing, and juicy collops were spluttering on skewers before the fire. When Sir Owen had finished eating, the bear seemed to wish him to follow him, and the bear led him to a brook in a little green patch, and there the knight quenched his thirst. By now it was twilight again, and Sir Owen made up the fire and prepared himself to slumber, and the bear lay down beside him and blinked at the fire like a great dog. The knight saw the sun far in the west dip beneath a cloud, and a cold wind blew across the waste. And then he heard a sigh from somewhere behind him, and then another, and again a third, and the sound seemed to come from within the towering stone. He cried out, "If thou art a mortal, speak to me, but if thou art some evil thing of this waste, avaunt thee." A voice, soft and sad, replied, "A mortal I am indeed, but soon I shall be dead, and as cold as the stone in which I am imprisoned, unless one man can help me." The stone was so thick that the voices of both were muffled, so that neither recognized the other. Sir Owen asked who it was who spoke to him. "I am Elined, handmaiden to the Lady of the Fountain," was the reply. "Alas, alas!" cried Sir Owen. "Then, if thou art in so sore pass, thou wouldst guard my lady till thy death. Surely my lady is in a worse pass. I am Owen, who won her in the jousts, and by evil fortune left her for more than a night and a day, and never have I been able to find my way back to my beloved lady. Tell me, damsel, what evil hath befallen her, and how may I avenge it instantly?" "Glad I am, Sir Owen," cried the maiden joyfully, "to hear that thou art still in life, and that thou wert not faithless, as the evil Sir Dewin said thou wert. 'Twas his evil magic that changed the landscape as thou didst ride, and so hid the way from thee. Not evil hath my lady suffered yet, nor never will now if thou canst save me this night. But he hath changed my brother, Disset of the Mound, into some monstrous shape, and me he hath chained within this stone. Yet for 77 days my magic kept him from doing further ill to my lady and me, and that space ends this midnight. Therefore am I glad that the good fate hath led thee here. Now go thee and hide until Sir Dewin and his 2 evil sons come. And when they would make a fire whereon to burn me, do thou cut them down and burn them, for so shall all their evil power be stayed." Much as Sir Owen wished to ask how his countess had fared through the time of his absence, he stole away after he'd stamped out his fire. Toward midnight there came a great roaring wind and a shower of hailstones and a thunder of lightning, and he saw 3 great black shapes descend from the sky. And he knew that these were the evil wizard knights, Sir Dewin and his 2 sons. They alighted upon the hill near the tower of stone and took the shapes of men. Instantly they began to gather wood and to make a huge heap. And Sir Dewin made witch fire and began to light the pile. Then Sir Owen crept up in the dark, and the bear went with him. And as the wizard bent to light the fire, Sir Owen raised his sword and chopped off the wizard's head, so that it hopped into the fire. The bear had gone behind the 2 sons, and now clawed them together, and though they struggled fiercely to get loose, the bear hugged them so tight that they could not move, and Sir Owen slew them both with his sword. Then together they heaped the 3 evil warlocks on the fire and saw them burn. And when the last of them was consumed in the fierce heat of the fire, Sir Owen felt a hand seize his, and turning, he marveled to see Disset, the moundsman, smiling into his face. "Good luck hath been thy guide, Sir Knight," said the Troll, "and thou hast released me from the evil dumb shape into which this wizard did change me. But all the happiness that hath been thine and shall be thine again, thou owest to thy constancy and thy devotion to the lady thou lovest best. Glad am I, good Troll, to see thee again, said Sir Owen, and glad shall I be to see my dear lady again. Now, let us release her faithful handmaiden, thy sister. With the master words which moved the living rock, the Troll caused the stone to open, and Elined stepped forth, exceedingly glad to see Sir Owen and her brother again, and to feel the free air upon her cheeks. When it was morning, they went on their way with great gladness, and when they reached the city of the fountain, the Countess could not speak for joy, and all her sadness fled, and in an hour her happiness was greater than her misery had been for all the months of her sorrow. The bells throughout the city were set ringing, and there was public rejoicing through the length and breadth of the land, for all were glad exceedingly that their dear lady was happy, and that their lord was come to his own again. Never again did Sir Owen leave his lady while she lived. Elined was advanced to the place of chief lady of the household, while Doucette was made head huntsman, because he loved the forest and knew the ways of every bird and beast that lived therein. And we'll start on chapter 9 in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. As Tigger says, ta-ta for now.